Does it mean to go? I mean,
No, we're not going to leave.
oh, okay,
No, we
okay,
don't leave. We just,
okay,
yeah, the show's a go, but we're not leaving.
okay,
We got to stay here and do the show
okay.
at the Warrior Healing Center. And Eric's with us, of course, in the back. He's going to, yeah, there he is. We can't ever forget Eric. Sometimes he's not here with me, and it's not as good.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's not as good with Eric not here.
As we discovered 2 weeks ago on kind of like where's Waldo and where in the world is Carmen Santiago? Where's my internet?
Yeah. And we didn't even have a show at all. Yeah,
Well,
that's
that's
what
true.
happened. So anyway, you're my guest. Before I introduce you and we get into you as our guest this week,
Okay,
I'm going to do a little plug for the Warrior Healing Center
absolutely.
and the Veteran Owned Business Network.
Okay,
So first of all, we're going to have a Christmas party next week.
yep.
So there are some members that weren't at the meeting on Tuesday in our network. So
Yes.
I'm doing this for them and also for any veteran-owned businesses that have thought about joining our network and
Mhm.
haven't actually done it yet. I know we've talked to a number of businesses and they just haven't quite made it out to a meeting yet and officially joined. So, hey, you're missing out on a Christmas party. But if you're interested, contact the Warrior Healing Center, get the information. We still want to invite you to the party. Boys and girls, children.
That's me.
Oh, it's again. Okay. Yeah. All right. So, yeah, it's going to be a docks watering hole. The new fantastic country restaurant club here in town, which if you haven't been, you're losing out because
That's right. That's right.
it's a nice place. They went all out. December 21st, next week. Sponsored by the Cochise College Small Business Development Center,
Mhm.
who's helped a lot of small businesses
Yes, absolutely.
in this town, not just veterans and
Oh no, yeah, yeah.
all businesses in general. They're helping to sponsor it. So even if you're thinking, if you're one of those veterans out there and you're kind of thinking, I wonder if I could start my own business of some kind. And if you're thinking that way, get a hold of us because we can help you. The Cochise College SBDC can help you. There's a lot of people that are willing to help you along the way and give you all the ins and outs and the
Mhm.
pitfalls. Matter of fact, my guest here will probably help you.
Absolutely.
We'll
get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into that. So, she could be very helpful to you if you're thinking about starting a business and all the things to consider. So, any further ado,
Okay.
we're going to introduce Carolyn Weaver, who handles Legal Shield and ID Shield.
Yes.
And so, actually, kind of well, it's one business, but
Well, it's one company that has several different ways to protect individuals and businesses.
yes, okay. So, but before we get into all the business stuff,
Okay.
now you're a veteran,
Yes.
so
21 years.
21 years, and you served in what branch?
Army.
Army, okay. And what'd you do in the Army, if you don't mind?
Counterintelligence.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Eric,
Yeah.
we got to be on our toes.
That's
she,
right.
She was CI,
Yes.
counterintelligence.
Yes.
Okay. No. Everybody makes fun of counterintelligence because if you're doing something wrong.
Well, I didn't
They're
start out
scary.
that way, so I'll tell you how that all happened.
Okay.
Okay.
So you didn't start in CI?
No.
Okay.
I started as a truck driver.
You're kidding.
No.
Wow, that's a big difference.
That's right.
Truck
That's
driver
right.
to CI.
Okay.
Okay, so
So,
how'd that happen?
Here's the way it all happened. All right. I was an only child. I'm starting from the beginning. My parents were in their 40s when they had me, so I was a very spoiled only child. And I lived at home till I was 28 years old. And it's bicentennial, 1976. I just decided it's time for me to do something else. So I got a wild hair, and in August of 76, I walked into a recruiting station, and I said, what have you got? I said, I want to stay in California because that's where my parents lived, and I want to be outdoors. So, recruiters, they'll find what you want. So I was I got a truck driver because I wanted to, when I got out, drive, pull horses, haul horses for a living. And I was at Fort Ord, you know,
Ooh,
in
nice.
Monterey, you know,
Oh, yeah.
beautiful Monterey.
Nice station.
Yes, yes. So, but I had a delayed entry program, so I didn't actually go to basic training until January of '77. So I was still a Women's Army Corps, and so I went through basic training at Fort McClellan in the snow and the cold and everything. And then after however many weeks it was, I went to good old Fort Dix in February.
Been there, yeah.
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 And I didn't know how to drive a stick shift when I started. So they started me on Jeeps, learning a stick, and I never forget going up a muddy hill and having to take you're going like this, and you have to go the other side, but you have to take your foot off the brake and get that clutch. And I did it, so that's how I graduated. The first week, that was 1 week. The second week was deuce and a halfs, and the third week was tractor trailers. And then I took the train from Fort Dix to California.
Oh, wow.
And that was really, because you had to wear a uniform then. And one lady thought I worked on the train with my little Army uniform. And so then I ended up at Fort Ord, and I was the platoon leader's young lieutenant's driver in the tractor trailer platoon. So I got to drive him around, but I didn't get to drive tractor trailers. And then we went out to the field, and then I got to drive the tractor trailers, and that was a lot of fun. I didn't know anything about the field, and there we were at in the 29 Palms, in the training center, in the heat, and then came back to Fort Ord, and I got transferred to protocol, and in protocol I'm driving the 4 stars to the golf course at Pebble Beach. That was a lot of fun.
I bet that was a nice, yeah.
In those days, you know, they had special treatment and the big old Ford LTD and everything, and that was a lot of fun. But then after a year, I got transferred to the motor pool, where I was the motor sergeant, and I was also a bus driver. And then I was driving the funeral details all over California and to Nevada. And I could go right down to my home, park the bus in front of my house, and I have a picture of that, but I didn't bring it. But that was a lot of fun too. But then after that, I was 3 years. Well, I got to do something else. What else am I going to do? So in the Post paper was an ad for counterintelligence agents. So I took the test, passed the test, and ended up here in Fort Huachuca.
Okay, so was that when you re-enlisted?
Yeah.
That you transitioned
Yes.
to a new MOS?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's a pretty good gig for a driver. I mean,
It
Fort
was.
Ord, obviously, because I spent time at DLI, but I mean, gorgeous, gorgeous base. I mean, the real estate there is worth
geez.
millions
Oh,
and millions
yes,
of dollars
yes,
right on the coast. I mean, Fort Ord, you just look right out at
Yes.
the ocean.
yes.
My dad was actually stationed at Fort Ord at one time. He was a 20-year man.
Hmm.
Before your time, though.
Yeah.
He goes further back.
Oh, well.
Yeah. So, and I spent time at DLI, and so yeah, what a nice assignment.
Yes.
And then driving generals to golf courses.
That I still have a 5-star plate
Do you?
for the car
Do you?
that I took with me.
You never gave one?
Yeah, I didn't give it up.
Oh, so we can drive on post with that.
I don't think they
and
use that anymore.
We'll get ourselves in a lot
No.
of trouble.
Yeah.
And then you went CI counterintelligence. Now, so you were in counterintelligence during the Cold War.
Yes.
So I can't remember the name. It was a case in Germany with a sergeant, and I remember there's a name, but my neighbor right here was a counterintelligence, and he wrote a book about his case in Germany that dealt with this sergeant that was providing.
Yeah. I'm afraid I don't remember any
Don't
of that
remember?
stuff.
Okay. Yeah, they call him the Mongoose. It was his code name or whatever. But he's my neighbor. I read his book.
Oh.
It's pretty
okay.
interesting. Back Cold War stuff,
Yeah.
where this guy was selling stuff to the Czechs and the Russians. And,
Yeah.
yeah. and they got him. So, wow, yeah, counterintelligence, and I got to do a little bit of that with. I'm an interrogator. I was an
Okay.
interrogator in the Army,
Okay.
but back in my day, in the 313th MI,
Mm-hmm.
counterintelligence and interrogators worked together.
Yeah.
So they supported us on our mission by doing screenings and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they had a mission and we could support them, we couldn't do their job because we didn't have a badge and credentials. But I did develop a source in Desert Storm, but I had a CIA agent assigned with me to handle, to officially handle it. So yeah, got a little bit of experience, a tiny bit,
Okay.
not as much as yours, but a little bit.
Well, it's
And you can't share much of your experience with us.
I can kind of talk around it.
Yeah,
like,
we won't even go there.
Yeah.
Let's play it safe and not go down that
and
road.
when I went through the course here, I arrived in the monsoon season. I'd never been to Sierra Vista before, and I just fell in love with it. And we trained in the old hospital area, which is now just brush.
Mm-hmm.
But and we use actual old typewriters, and if you made a mistake, you had to do it all over again.
Yep. What is a typewriter? Oh, I remember those. Yeah, typewriters. Yeah, they don't exist anymore. So, now obviously you didn't stay here. You came here for your training,
right?
But did you just decide to come back?
Oh no! I went here. Here's the whole career in a nutshell, in a big nutshell. I went to 165th MI in Frankfurt, and they have some specialized operations that they do there. So I arrived right at the one where we can't tell you what it is.
Yeah,
but
just use your imagination.
It was a lot of surveillance kind of stuff and Audubon and all that, and then I stayed there for 3 years, and then went to Fort Meade. I haven't been to many specific special places. I mean, other countries, and then from there went to Fort Bragg, 18th Airborne Corps.
Mm-hmm.
But I was a leg. I did not jump out of perfectly good airplanes, so I did a lot of. Then I was in uniform by then. Up until that time, I was in civilian clothes, and I had a good time with the intelligence and learning about they specialized in South America at that time, and all that good information, all the things that were going on in El Salvador and all of that. Got to make a lot of good TDYs to special places. Mm-hmm. And then I decided, by then I was an E7, and I said, I really don't want to remain an E7. I want to keep doing my job, my work. So then I went warrant officer and went through the special school at Fort Rucker that they had just started, breaking down the NCO in you and making you an officer. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I laughed too much.
So how did you end up back here?
Well, let's see, where was I then?
Rucker. As a warrant.
I was at Rucker as a warrant. Then I went back to Fort Ord as a warrant officer, and we had on the hill where the eucalyptus trees were, we had our own little resident office. So I was there for 3 years, and went to DLI for Russian, which my tongue could not get around Russian. So then I transitioned to German, and then I went back to Germany for 6 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And was that still the Cold War? Still going on?
Well, no, it was 91.
Oh, so it was over by then.
Yeah.
So you were there right at that time. Yeah. Okay. You still haven't told me how you ended up back at Sierra Vista.
Well, by then I was up for CW3, and my father was 90 years old, living in California by himself, and I had to get back to get him with me, and this is the closest post to California to reassign me to. Mm-hmm. So in 1996, I came back here, got him to come with me to live with me.
Okay. So then you retired.
And then I retired in 98.
Right, retired here in 98. Okay, wow. What a career. So you went in 76 and 90. How many years?
21.
It seems like it's longer.
Well, the delayed entry is like 6 months. So
Yeah. But still, 76
to 96.
to 96. Oh, okay. That makes sense. It just seems 76 just seems like that's right after high school for me. Just seems a long time ago.
Oh, geez.
It seems
It's,
a long time ago.
Almost 10 years after high school for me at the
Yeah,
time.
that seems like a long
Yeah,
time ago.
yeah.
Yeah, 1976. I graduated in 75.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a few years back.
Yeah.
It was a few years back. So, and you made your final home here in Sierra Vista.
Yes.
Got out of the Army, and you decided you were going to do something else.
Well, I had gotten in time to get the Vietnam era GI Bill. So I used that every penny. And then that was starting to, it was almost done. And I figured, well, I better do something to get some additional income. So then I found this. Let me show this thing.
Oh, all right. Let's see if we can get this on camera.
Yeah, there's plenty of.
I got to turn it around though, right? We got to show it this way.
Yeah,
Okay. You're going to have to explain this.
oh, okay.
Because I have no idea how this relates to what you do.
All right. This was, I looked at that time, there's no internet. So I was looking at a magazine for opportunities. And I said, well, this looks like a pretty good deal. I buy some of these machines and place them in restaurants, and people flip a quarter through this little hole.
Okay.
And if they get it through there, then they win a prize. Here we get a little, you get a prize.
Okay.
So I paid too much money for a bunch of these, which I still have in the closet in my house. But
how many do you have?
I don't even want to go there.
You okay? You have a bunch of these in a closet in your house from years ago.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I haven't done anything with them yet, but I was supposed to hire someone to place them in restaurant for me, so I did. Turns out it's a gambling device.
That's what it sounds like.
And illegal.
I was wondering. Yes. It's illegal.
If they put something in there and they win something, then it's illegal.
Okay, so let's get this for my audience. So we have a former counterintelligence agent that gets out of the Army and starts an illegal business. Okay, we're just gonna
try.
You tried to start. I mean, that's a good story though.
Yeah.
I mean, but you didn't know at the time.
I was not a business person.
Yeah.
I was trusting, and
you thought,
so then I tried to call around various attorneys in town to say, tell me, and no one would talk to me without a lot of money.
Right.
So then I sucked it up. And this is probably around 2000 when this occurred. And then in 2001, someone introduced me to Legal Shield. And I grabbed up the membership because of what happened with this lovely little thing. I said, I'm never going to be in that position again where I don't have good counsel through an attorney or someone that can help me when someone does something bad to me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I got the membership then, and I became an associate so that I could tell other people that existed, because so many people make bad decisions every day.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have an attorney that you can just pick up the phone and not worry about $200 or $300 an hour,
right?
That is why was passionate then, and I'm still passionate that people know the service exists. At least know it exists. You've been around 50 years this year.
I've heard of it for
50
many years ago.
And
yes.
I still talk to people that have never heard of it.
Yeah, really?
And they say, I wish I'd known that when I got my divorce. I wish I'd known that when I had my child custody issue. And I say, well, it exists, and I can give you the information, and you can decide if you want to be proactive instead of reactive and get about $1 a day for the membership.
Yeah. And well, I think I'm kind of familiar, but just, in my mind, it's kind of like, and it's kind of like a form of insurance, like anything else. If you don't have it, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden you have a need and you go talk to an attorney and they start talking dollars, per hour.
Yes.
And their rate is like, are you serious? That much per? And oh, guess what? Every time we call on the phone,
Yes.
it's going
Or
to be.
think of you.
Oh yeah, every we think of you, we're going to have another bill.
Yes.
I'm going to share my one. In my early days,
Okay.
me and the little business in town. I had worked there in high school, and then it was a little drive-in dairy where you could drive in a car and get food and milk, and then we'd wait on you. And things didn't go right, and I ended up talking to an attorney who was a friend of the family, right?
Mhm.
And yeah, he 70. This was back in the 70s,
Mhm.
and it was $75 for a phone call. Back then, a phone call was $75 just to call him on the phone. He had me doing the legwork, running around, getting the paperwork and stuff like that. And we were supposed to sue this big company that I dealt with, and he following his advice. And month after month went by, month after month. I was afraid to call because I was afraid of running up the bill. Let alone go in and visit him in the office. That was more money, And make a long story short, found out that the company I was going to sue was selling to another company, which meant, they're going to have to settle, right? Because if you have a pending lawsuit, you're going to have to settle.
Mm-hmm.
And I was excited, and I called him, and he had never filed after like a year and a half. And so I never did. Yeah, it was just a total loss. And so sometimes when you need an attorney in a pinch, it doesn't turn out real well because you're under the gun.
Yes.
You're desperate. They know you're desperate. They're going to charge you.
Yes.
So your plan can help avoid that. That's my understanding.
Yes.
Am I pretty much right on?
Yeah, let me tell you a little bit about.
Go ahead.
First,
you explain it better.
It is all right. You mentioned insurance. The insurance corporations or commission of every state was the one that had to okay Legal Shield operating in that state. And some states require a license from the independent associate, and some don't. Like I'm licensed in Virginia and South Carolina. And when I started, many more states required a license, but little by little, the states are realizing that this really isn't insurance and they don't need to bother with it, except some just want to get that money,
Right.
like I pay $40 to South Carolina to be licensed. It's not a matter of me taking a test or having any insurance knowledge. It's just they get some more money in their coffers. But
yeah.
Then Legal Shield is 50 years old. So I'd like to tell you how the company was founded. It was founded in a little town called Ada, Oklahoma, which is about 45 miles southeast of Oklahoma City. A man called Harlan Stonecipher was a school teacher and part-time insurance agent. And he was in his probably 40s at that time. And he was involved in a head-on accident that wasn't his fault. But the lady that hit him sued him because he had a shaky driver's record, and she thought she can get some money from his insurance. Well, he was insured for his life. He was insured for health, but he wasn't insured for that lawsuit happening to him. So in that day, that was in 1969, and he won. But after it was all said and done, he thought, well, what did I win? I've lost all my money. There must be something around that could help when bad things happen to good people. So that's how we started looking into if there was something like that. And it turns out in Europe, you do have to get some kind of legal insurance to drive on the Autobahn. So that's how the germ of the idea started, to help people when bad things happen to them. And little by little, it started growing, and he started contracting with major law firms instead of, Joe Lawyer down on the block with a shingle on the hanging out that says he's a lawyer. So major law firms are all we contract with. We have a closed system of attorneys. And when I started in 2001, we weren't in every state, but now we are in every state and province and territory of Canada. And it's just unfortunately he passed away a few years ago, but in 2011, at that time we were called Prepaid Legal Services, which you may have heard of.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And they decided to They were at that time on the New York Stock Exchange, one of the top producers in the New York Stock Exchange. And then they went, a private equity firm, Ocean Partners, bought it out and made it go private. So that's we are now private since 2011.
Okay, so no longer a public company.
Right.
Okay. And now I imagine
Mhm.
they probably offer different types of plans. Am I right? Or is it just a single plan, or
No,
is there
there-
different options?
There's family plan that covers the family. Well, here, let me show you this brochure, and then you can read
Okay.
it. Did you have that brochure? I gave you a wrong brochure over there.
No,
Okay, well,
that is
here,
the one.
Go ahead, take
That
that
is
one.
the one. Yeah.
Oh, here we are.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. So,
So why don't you read over a little bit, and then I can
well,
answer some of your.
well, for the audience, isn't going to want
Right.
to watch me read.
Right. Okay. All
but,
right.
but they have family plans.
Yeah.
I imagine you have business plans
Yes.
and small business, medium,
Yes.
different size businesses. And then my understanding, well, let me ask you what I think, and then you tell me
Okay,
if I'm
sure,
right. My
sure.
understanding is the idea is that you pay like a regular retainer.
Yes. Well,
It's like a retainer.
it's a
fee.
subscription,
A
a
subscription.
monthly subscription.
In the big corporate world, they have retainers where they'll have
Yes.
let's say I'm an attorney and you own a
Right.
big corporation, you'll have me on a retainer where I got a monthly
Right.
income, and then you call me when you need me.
Yeah.
You'd rather be write a letter or handle a loss or something.
Yeah.
So it's kind of similar, but instead of a retainer, they call it
It's a membership fee.
a membership
Mhm.
fee, but it's kind of the same concept. And then with that, you now have attorneys at your disposal if you need something. Now,
Yeah.
something's like just a simple letter, like, hey, can an attorney write this letter? This person is threatening me or
Yeah.
or whatever. And sometimes that's all it takes
Yes.
is that letter from an attorney that says, Robert Ishoy is being represented by me, and he is telling you, and then sometimes that letter is just enough to put it to rest.
I got this morning, an email from a member, since you mentioned the letter,
Okay.
and it just tickled me. Okay. It says, Carolyn, just wanted to reach out to you to let you know that Titan has agreed to refund my purchase of the backup battery for our solar panels. The law firm letter proved to be effective, and I'm grateful to you and the law firm.
Perfect.
Oh,
Perfect example.
it just
Yeah.
I
I mean,
it just gives me goosebumps.
Yeah.
You know.
It is that simple. Sometimes
Yes.
an attorney letter is all it takes, because then they know you have representation.
Yes.
Legal and you mean business.
And they think you're not going to do it because they think you're paying hundreds of dollars,
Right.
and they don't think you're going to do it. And
Yeah.
that was $17,350 that he got back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. With just a
Yeah,
letter
yeah.
from attorney. So yeah. Now, other services that are more involved, then you get like a discount rate, right?
Okay, well, I'll just go a little
Yeah.
bit through that.
Okay, yeah, go through it.
First, a family is considered a couple or one person. That they don't have to be married, with children. Up to, it doesn't matter how many children, they're included in the one membership fee, which at this time is $29.95 a month. And with that, certain things are included. A will, a medical power of attorney, and medical directive is included for the couple at no additional charge. And that alone is a $1,000, $2,000
Okay.
value right there. And it doesn't matter if they cancel after 30 days, that's what they can get right off the bat.
So there's no charge for those.
No,
It's
charge.
part of the membership.
part of the membership, and they will review it every year at no additional charge.
And that's a living will
Medical power of attorney,
and a power of attorney.
financial power of attorney, direct, and the
Mhm.
medical directive,
Okay.
whatever is in the state, whatever.
Now, are these other services at no cost, like the name change,
Yes.
adoption representation?
Yeah. If they have the membership for 90 days, they get those with no additional charge, and the attorney will just do it at no additional charge, as long as certain conditions, such as they've already agreed, like in a divorce, They've already agreed to everything, and they just have the membership for 90 days. Whoever got the membership, whoever's getting the divorce, and then they can keep with the membership or not after the divorce is done.
So that's included
Yeah,
at no charge.
yeah.
Over the
As long as
wow.
as long as they have the membership, and the membership is month to month, no obligation to keep it for any particular length of time. But one of my favorite parts is the lawsuit protection that's included. With the membership, you start with 60 hours of attorney already paid for if you should be named in a lawsuit. And every year you keep the membership, it increases 60 hours.
Oh, wow.
So like me, I've had this for 20 years. I have 400 hours of an attorney paid for should someone want to sue me.
Wow.
And
So the longer you keep it,
after 5 years, there's a ridiculous number of hours.
There's a cutoff.
Yeah, there's no point in having more than 400 hours.
Yeah.
So you start off with 60, and you can also start with 75 hours with an additional fee included.
So there's a lot of free services that
Absolutely.
are included with the membership. And then I imagine there's other more involved services that are not included, or you do have to pay, but you probably get a discounted rate.
Voluntary stuff, like you want to sue someone, then that doesn't, you have to pay fees to hire them to sue someone, but you get a 25% discount.
Okay, so there are discounts,
Yeah, discounts.
for the
And
other services.
When I first found out about this membership,
How much are the letters?
they're included.
So this lady, our client, I don't know if did you say it was a lady?
It was a man.
Oh, it was a man. So this client that saved all that money from that letter was free. That was
Yeah, he paid $29.95 for a month membership, and that letter was included.
It was included. So that's the fee per month.
Yeah,
That's it. That's actually I thought it was gonna be more than that.
no.
$29.95.
The whole year is about the cost of an hour of an attorney.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
And there's the trap, right now everything's on the app. So let me show you got this app. Where's my app? All right. Legal Shield. That's ID Shield.
Now, how do they pick the attorney? Like if you're a member and I need something like that letter, do I call Legal Shield and say, hey, I need a letter, and then they hook me up with an attorney?
No, we have a closed system of attorneys. So in every state, we have a major law firm, full service law firm, and they have regular clients, but they also have for service Legal Shield members. Like here in Arizona, our law firm is in Phoenix, and we've had this particular law firm 15 years. And if I need help, I have a toll-free number that I call into the law firm.
Directly to them.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Because that's the only way Legal Shield can maintain quality, because they started out trying to do this lawyer and that lawyer, and you couldn't maintain quality for the member, and then they cancel. So we have major law firms in every state, in one state that handles all the members in that state. So in Arizona, we have many thousand members, and when the membership fee of $29.95 is split 3 ways between the law firm, Legal Shield, and the associate. So that's how we all get paid every month.
Wait a minute. The associate gets some of the money back?
Well, that's how we work on commission.
Like yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. So the attorneys get some, Legal Shield corporate gets
Yes.
some, and then you get some for the clients that signed up with you.
Right.
I got you.
It's like insurance.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
So it's just one of my first members 21 years ago, this is one of my favorite things, is he didn't think he needed an attorney. No, I don't break the law. I don't need an attorney.
Mm-hmm.
And then he found himself in a land deal here in Arizona that wasn't going his way. So he said, "You still doing that legal thing?" I said, "Yeah." So he signed up, and he's still a member to this day, because he knows what happened when he didn't have it.
And then you also have listed here consultation, advice, services. And so you can call them Oh, here's the letter. Letter and phone calls on your behalf. There it
It's
is.
unlimited.
Is it? Wow. So phone calls too. So again, how powerful is that? You get somebody, you're giving somebody trouble, and then all of a sudden you get a phone call. Yes, this is a attorney so and so, and you need to cease and desist or whatever
Yeah.
it is, and that's pretty powerful.
If it's an immediate need, they'll go ahead and make a phone call.
Okay.
Like, and then another one of my favorite parts
Ooh, this is a big one. Contract and document
Yes.
review.
Up to 15
Up to
pages
15
at
pages.
no additional charge.
So so a lot of times people look at, well, just a good example, because us that own businesses,
Yeah.
you have a lease agreement. And you look at those lease agreements, and sometimes you're like, oh my God, what
Yes.
is this thing?
Yes.
What does this mean? What does that mean? And of course, some of them are longer than
Buying a
15
car.
pages.
Well, they'll sometimes they're boilerplate contracts, so the attorney knows which ones he needs to see to determine the
Yeah.
specifics.
So you can have an attorney just review that and say, I don't think you'd better sign
Yeah.
this one.
Same thing for businesses too.
Yeah.
A lot of it, there's a lot of similarities.
Wow.
And the traffic part is also one of my favorites. Is I've gotten a couple tickets up on Fort Huachuca for not coming to a complete stop, and the same
Shame
stop
on
sign,
you.
but because it's on a federal reservation, there's nothing that they can do. But if I got the same thing here off post, I just take a picture of the ticket with my phone, send it goes straight to the law firm. The law firm will review it, and then because sometimes they make a mistake when they write a ticket, if you need to go to court, they'll go to court with you or for you if it's a defensible ticket.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And I think that's important because now we've gotten to the point, and I'm kind of big on this issue, to be honest. I'm going to get on a soapbox, Eric. I usually get on a soapbox once during the show, right? But I'm pretty big on the Constitution.
Yeah.
Okay. The Constitution states multiple times, emphasizing over and over the right to a jury. But in our society, statistically, very few cases ever go to a jury, and a lot of people don't even sometimes know they have that right.
Mm-hmm.
Like with traffic, they think, oh, you don't get to have a jury with a traffic. Well, no. The Constitution is very clear. You get the right to a jury for all offense, including. But a lot of people just think, oh, you can't do that. But here you have the option to have an attorney briefly review the ticket and the circumstance and say, okay, you need to fight this one.
Yeah.
And they'll go to fight it for you.
And even if it's another state, if you're driving cross country and you're going through Texas, for example, because all those counties have their own little laws, you can just say, thank you, Mr. Officer, and keep on going. And then if they want you to come back there, an attorney in Texas will go there for you.
Wow. Wow. No kidding.
Yeah.
So you don't have to. So that would be very useful. So that's a big thing because, again, a lot of people are we're almost programmed at this point just to pay the ticket and keep your mouth shut and move on, even if you don't think it was right.
Right.
We I don't think that was right, but I guess I better.
That's right. That frustration. And since you mentioned that, this is our 24/7 card. You want to read that?
Law enforcement officer or security personnel. This is addressed to them. If it is your intention to question, detain, or arrest me, please allow me to call a lawyer immediately.
And we have the lawyers on 24/7.
Wow.
And they just call that number, and the person that answers the phone will put them in touch with the attorney whatever state.
And
it's
then you
in.
got the little tear offs.
Yeah.
You can actually give this to the officer and say, if he starts questioning you, you say,
That's right.
yeah, I'm not answering any questions.
That's right.
Talk to my attorney. Wow. So, okay.
That's included. Originally, when the membership was $16, this was added for $1. And that's how they got the new name, was from Legal Shield, because it was called Legal Shield that was added to the membership.
Okay. Okay. Man.
And there's one other thing in there that is one of my favorites. It's the more the traffic. If you're in an accident that involves the death of somebody and you're charged with vehicular manslaughter, even though in Arizona they don't call it vehicular manslaughter, they just call it manslaughter with a vehicle, they will defend you in court at no additional charge.
Wow. And that would be normally very expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Very expensive.
The great part of it is you don't have to go when something bad happens, you don't have to find somebody. You don't have to worry if they're any good.
Do they help
Because-
with DUIs?
At a discount.
At a discount?
Yeah.
Okay. Because yeah, just to give an example, I know a guy. I won't mention any names, of course, but a good friend of mine that got a DUI, and yeah, he told me by the time he was done with the attorney, and he didn't get off the hook either. I mean, he didn't get, it wasn't dismissed, but he still had an attorney to try to reduce everything, and $5,000.
Yes.
$5,000 to handle the DUI with an attorney. That's what cost him. And then on top of that, he had fines, and he did have to lose his license for a period and all that stuff. But just to avoid a worse situation, he did get an attorney. It was $5,000. Very expensive when you need
Yes.
it. Very expensive. These are a lot of services. I'm impressed. I am legitimately impressed with the amount of services that are included in this. IRS too.
Yes.
So let's go over that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you're named in an audit, you get so many hours. A tax attorney is like $500 an hour just right off the gate, and that's included so many hours and representing, going with you or for you to the IRS.
Okay, so they'll an hour worth of consultation when you first find out you're going to be audited, and then you also can get help with a settlement if you need that, and if the case goes to court, they'll be there as well. Wow. Okay.
And the key part with that is it's also good for the return that you filed this year for the year before. So if anyone signs up before the 31st of December, the previous year's return or anything is also covered.
Yeah. Typically, the IRS hits you 3 years.
Yeah, well,
It's usually 3 years. They'll audit you and say, "Oh, we want to audit, 3 years ago,"
you don't even remember that.
and you don't remember.
Yeah.
And hopefully, you've kept
Yes.
all the paperwork, because
Yes.
not everybody does. And then you're
Yes.
like, "What? That was 3 years ago." Oh well, guess what? You need all the documentation. So, especially if you're in business, and now with this new funding, where you're in the news where they talked about the Biden administration funding 80,000 new IRS agents.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You're like, okay, what are they planning? Are they
Yeah.
gonna start going after every little person out there?
Well, there's a lot of fraud that happened during COVID, and with unemployment benefits being paid to other countries and then the person that was named finds himself holding the bag.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
whole other identity theft issue.
Oh yeah, and well, we'll go over that too, because
Yeah.
you cover that as well.
Well, I don't know if we have time for that because maybe I can come again and just do do something about the business right now.
Okay.
Because that's all. Since we are about veteran-owned businesses and helping
Yeah.
businesses grow, my motto is we help small businesses protect and grow their business. So the protection comes from the plans that we have for small business owners, and those are graduated to what you need. So you can be a home-based business and not have a storefront or anything. We have a plan for that, all the way up to the more letters you need, the more collection letters you might need, the more documents you need reviewed, the graduates up to $169 a month. And again, it's all month to month, and it's a great thing to have. And also for your employees, we can provide these services for the family to their employees, where it doesn't cost the business owner anything, but the peace of mind for the employee, knowing that their employer cares about them. Number one, get your employees their will done, and help
Mhm.
them with traffic tickets, and help them have the peace of mind of knowing that they're cared about by their employer.
Okay. So, wow, and this is really good. I'm really glad we had you on here. I
Yeah.
really am. So this service for my audience out there, business owners, you don't have to be a veteran. I mean,
No.
she'll service everybody,
Yes.
you know. Oh, first of all, what area do you cover?
Nationwide.
So anybody in the nation can contact you.
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as they're not in a state where I don't have a license.
Okay. So, obviously we're targeting the local people, but anybody out there, and if you are, you know, a family member that lives in another state that has a business or legal needs, doesn't have to be a business. This
Right.
can be for families too. So, especially I would think, you know, the larger family you have, the more concerns you might have, right? You got kids that are growing up and you're worried, okay, you know, could my kids get in trouble? You know, so families, small businesses, large businesses, you know,
Yes.
there's all these services, and it's basically a fee that you pay monthly
Mhm.
as a member. We already know the fee's very low,
Mhm.
$29.95, and with that, you get a lot of free services as a member, including the letters, the phone calls,
Mhm.
initial advice for certain things, consultation for certain things, and the wills, a whole list of things, the traffic reviews, the contract reviews. I mean, it's quite a list
It is.
of actual free services that are included. You just contact the, now, I think an important issue is you said that the law firm they have in Arizona is a large law firm that covers all areas.
Yeah. Well, let me give you an example. One of my members here in Sierra Vista, about 4 years ago, found himself being accused of hurting somebody,
Okay.
and he had done nothing wrong. He was advised of this on a Wednesday, and because he had Legal Shield, the law firm assigned him an attorney from Tucson to represent him at the court hearing, which is going to be a week from that day he was notified. So he and the attorney discussed over the phone what was going on and what they'd do. And then they appeared in the Superior Court right there by the hospital. And I was there. I had to see this. And the person who made the accusation was there, and that person told their story about what they said occurred. And then my member and his attorney were on the other side, and the attorney was very skillful in the way he talked about it, because he didn't mention any of the accusations, simply said what he find outstanding citizen. He's a military retiree. He works on post, and then the judge left the room, and then came back, and then when they came back, the accuser withdrew their complaint because I don't know why, what they realized, I don't know.
Yeah. They didn't realize that there was an attorney in the room and it was going to get really serious.
Yes, because they don't expect someone to get an attorney. And then when it was all said and done, the judge told my member, "You were well represented by your attorney." And I just wanted to jump and shout, but I had to remain calm. And
because I think an important factor people, if they've never had any issues, is there's different attorneys that handle different things.
Yes.
So you have attorneys that handle employment law.
Yes.
So if you have a problem with your employer, there's a specific attorney that can handle that. Then of course you have criminal attorneys for those type of issues. And then, so with a large firm, they'll have different attorneys that handle different types of legal issues. And that's what you have with Legal Shield, am I right?
And Legal Shield is very particular about the the law firms and attorneys have rated by an organization called Martindale Hubble, and the top rating for an attorney is AV. That means they've been rated by their peers as being the best at what they do. And 95% of our attorneys and law firms are AV rated.
AV rated.
And they have about 20 years experience. And what they don't just get someone right out of law school. They have to be experienced and well-versed in what they're doing. I do have a letter I'd like to read.
Oh,
One
and
of-
Eric has your name and number up there.
Yeah.
People can call or text if you're interested in getting this protection for your family, your business, or both. Now, if you own a business and you want to protect your business and your family, is it covered?
They're two separate things.
They're two
The
separate.
legal shield is separate, the ID shield is separate, and the small business plans are separate. We also have a,
But what I'm asking is, would you, if you're the owner of the business, you're a sole owner,
mhm,
do you have to sign up for the business and then pay one fee and then also sign up for yourself or your family?
Yes.
And pay a second fee?
yes.
So you'd have to have two separate memberships is
Yeah,
what I'm
but
asking.
there are ways to help with the cost of that, which I do.
Okay. Okay.
So this is a teenage daughter. Another powerful legal shield testimonial. I didn't realize the huge power of our legal plan until the day we needed legal assistance regarding our teenage daughter's brand new automobile. She contacted our provider law firm because the dealership from whom she had purchased her car failed repeatedly to repair the same exact problem in a 2-month time frame. The lawyer she talked with assured her that she was dealing with a lemon law situation. He wrote and mailed one letter directly to the car manufacturer's corporate headquarters. A few weeks later, arrangements were made to exchange her original car with a brand new model.
Oh,
And
wow.
everything was handled directly through the dealership. It cost her absolutely nothing. I can't thank you enough for empowering her with access and the legal tools of support as she works toward her independence in adulthood. We are a family of true believers in legal plan.
Wow. So there's a lot of testimonies.
Oh yeah, just
Yeah.
all different things that can happen through no fault of your own.
Yeah.
So often when I talk to people about legal shield, they say, I don't break the law. I don't need an attorney. Well, other people will break the law and you could be the victim.
Right.
And then you need someone to help you with that.
Yeah. No, a lot of people have that attitude, even in business. A lot of businesses have that attitude that, well, it's never happened. Well, even like where I worked corporate security. And I remember going to this, I think it was in West Virginia. Yes, it was West Virginia. Not to put out in West Virginia, but one of the things I had arranged was for an armored car service nationwide, because back then, still a lot of cash, right? And they were like, oh, we just send, it was a female employee, Mary Ann or whatever. And, oh, Mary Ann just goes to the bank every day in her own private car and does the deposit at the same time. I'm like, okay, so she leaves at the same time every day, drives the same route every day in her private car. And their answer was, well, she's been doing it for 20 years and nothing's ever happened. I'm like, okay, you're going to start using an armored car service because the risk is really high.
Oh yeah.
That something could happen, but that attitude, well, nothing's ever happened yet.
She's a target of opportunity
Yeah.
because she's established a
Yeah.
routine.
So anyway, so this is very impressive. I'm impressed. A lot of services, protecting your family, your small business, and if anything, if you're interested at all, call Carolyn. She can advise you. You've been doing this for
21 years.
21 years. So if you have questions, you're like, well, should I get this for my family? Should I get it for my business? Well, this is the kind of business I have. Do I even need it? She can help you. She can advise you and what your needs might be, what your risk might be.
Yeah, I just thought of one other thing I should mention before we go off. The covered is the family, all children up to the age of 26, even if they're away at college, never married, disabled children up to the age of 26, as long as they're living at home. And it covers the whole family. When your kids go off to college, you get this for the family and it covers them wherever they are. They have an attorney if they're in a they're 18 years old in a new place making fresh decisions. Wouldn't it be great if they had an attorney to call before they signed on the dotted line
No.
and made any decisions that could jeopardize them?
All right. What do you think, Eric? We've used up an hour
Yes, you have.
easily.
Very easily.
That went by fast.
It did.
It went by real fast. I will be honest. I'm gonna be honest with you because I'm an honest person.
Uh-huh.
I was like, okay. You know, we had a lot of guests on here, and
Uh-huh.
we've had some things that are fun, like the puppet
Yes,
guy.
that
You know, I'm gonna be honest. I like, Eric, can we go an hour on Legal Shield?
well, that was my thought too. But
Can we?
man,
Can we? And I did. I was like, "Are we going to be able to do an hour on Legal Shield?" You know, and I wasn't sure. I was like, "Oh,"
Do anything.
but we did it easily. We did it. Good job. You were well prepared. Good explanation of everything, and you didn't even hesitate to share with our audience the cost because it is so low.
yes,
You know, I didn't bring that up because I thought, okay, if they're interested, you can tell them
Yeah.
later. But I'm glad you did because now people can realize that's very low cost.
oh yeah,
Membership fee. I pay obviously all kinds of insurance, whether a car, home, way more than that. Even my home insurance, you know, I have one of those home insured, like if
yeah, I do
the-
too.
the refrigerator goes out,
Yeah.
and that's really paid off. That's more than this,
And those are all legal situations that can go wrong.
right?
That this can help you with.
Right. Like if they don't want to cover
Yeah. Yeah.
something. So even if your other insurance is that you pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars every month for insurance, and they're messing around with you, Legal Shield. Sometimes just that letter to the insurance
That's
company.
right.
Hey, take care of this.
Or that landlord or
Yeah.
all of that.
Wow. Okay.
One quick question. I assume it would be, but you have to ask. Paralegal type services as well, saying covering types of bankruptcy or anything of that nature.
We don't use paralegals.
Okay.
No, only attorneys.
Okay, so you don't provide advice or anything of that nature.
Well, that's part of it. Yeah, advice and assistance. Yeah.
Okay. Just
And the only thing that's that isn't covered that's pre-existing is a lot. If you are sued for something that happened before you became a member, you get a 25% discount. But if you're sued the 24 hours after you become a member, it's covered with the hours.
Yeah. And reinstate that there's no long-term contract.
No, month to month.
Month to month. So if you sign up for this, you're not signing up for the next year.
No, but the longer you keep it,
The better the benefits.
well, yeah, and your lawsuit protection increases.
Mhm. So, wow. Okay, I'm impressed. I am genuinely impressed with the program. It's good. I'm glad we got it out there. So, you got the phone number, you got her name, Carolyn Weaver. And there it is. There it is again. Thank you. And there's phone number. Give her a call. Protect yourself, because I mean, the world's getting more and more crazy every year.
And we're in the prime identity theft time of season. So I had a lot of identity theft we want to go over, but we didn't get to it. So
We'll
maybe
have
you
to do
can
another show.
another show
time.
or let me know, and I can certainly happy to talk to you about how we can protect you and your computers and your family.
All right. And that's it.
Okay.
We're going to sign off here at the Warrior Healing Center. You learn something new every week. Every week you tune into us and you're going to
One
learn.
more question.
Okay, one
Uh-oh.
more question.
Do you have any stories, surprises about crazy laws that you've encountered while doing this work?
Crazy laws? I don't know about crazy laws. I kind of keep track of that myself, but I haven't encountered any. But I've used the law firm to get help on like the dogs in a hot car kind of thing. I could call the law firm to get the exactly what the pros and cons are and what you should do and not do. Just that's the beauty of the membership. You can call and ask about your own legal problems or your
Mhm.
own interest in a particular law. You can't call for someone else, but you can call for yourself.
Yeah. And you don't get this program so you can go out and break the law.
No.
You get this program, as she said, to protect you against the other people that are breaking the law and doing stupid things, and just in general being mean people
Yes.
that want to do stupid things. And again, working corporate security for a number of years, heard lots of crazy stuff
I bet.
myself.
I bet.
Of legal actions, because legal issues that we had to deal with. So anyway, I'm going to sign off.
No, you're not.
No?
No.
No.
No?
No. Rob, you have one more question, man. Answer.
What's that? What do you want to know now, Eric?
You know what I want to know.
He's
Who are we gonna have on next week, Rob?
You want me to tell you? It's somebody you know quite well.
I know who it is.
I know,
just wanna see if
yeah.
you say it.
It's somebody you know quite well because you deal with them now on a regular basis. Am I correct?
You can tell me who it is.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you who it is. They got to sign in next week to find out. I think it's going to be a good show next week. We can't tell. We don't tell.
Oh, you don't tell.
No, we don't tell who it is.
Sad
You-
to say, I think next week I may be the problem.
Yeah, you know what? I might have you do the interview next week. Yeah.
Oh no.
Well, you're going to be in there a
Like I
lot.
said, I may be the problem.
Yeah, that you might be the problem. Yep, that's a good. Matter of fact, you get dressed apart.
Yeah.
I think that'd be cool.
Oh yeah.
I think it'd be cool.
Oh, yeah.
So you got to tune in next week. Find out what Eric has been doing recently. I think it's just been a couple months, right?
A month.
A month. So he's a new endeavor, and the person that he's working with on this is going to be our guest next week. It's going to be a fun show. So tune in, and we'll see you then. Right before Christmas. But we'll be on next week. We'll be here because we're dedicated to helping each other and helping veterans.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank
for
you.
being on the show.
Thank you.
We had fun.
I should have done it sooner.
You should have. All right.
That's all right. At least you closed out 2022, so new things coming in 2023.